Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Bijay and I am a Microsoft MVP in SharePoint. And in today's video, we are going to discuss about SharePoint site columns. So I'll show you how we can create site column. We will try to understand what is the difference between site column and list column. And then I will show you also how we can programmatically create site columns using REST API. So these are the things that basically we are going to discuss on today's video. Now, let us try to understand what is a site column. So by the definition, if you'll say a site column is a reusable column that you can use in any list or library in the site or any nested subsite under that site, SharePoint site or the site collection. So this is by the definition. Now let's try to understand what is the difference between a list column and a site column. So basically, as we know, you must have been already gone through the columns. So if I'll tell you that we want to store information about employees, then you will create some columns for that. For example, maybe you will create the employee name as a column, employee address is a multi-line column, maybe the experience you can take, the salary you can take in one column. So these are the columns that you can take. And so these are the list columns. So basically, if I will show you a SharePoint site, you can see here this is a SharePoint site and I'll open any list. Now, for example, this is the training list, and in this training list, if you'll see here, I have columns, training name, training type, price, mode, training status, and comments. So these are the columns that we have created. Now what is these columns? These are list columns. These are specific to this training list, and the other side we have site columns. Now, when I'm saying specific to this list, that means we actually cannot reuse these columns in another list. For example, if I will open this team task list and I want to use this column training status, then I cannot use that. What I have to do is I have to basically go open that list and create a column, and we have to add that data type and the value if anything is there. So these are known as the list columns. So in a list column, basically these are specific to that particular list and we cannot reuse that. But Microsoft provides for options so that we can create a column and we can use that for the entire site or any site inherited from that site. So these are known as the site columns. So these are the reusable columns. Now let's go back and to our SharePoint site, and we will try to understand here. For example, if you'll see here, there is a training mode is there. So the training mode is individual, corporate, group, or this kind of options are there. Maybe it's a choice column, maybe it's a single line of text column, maybe it's a radio button, anything that you can take. But this is a column, and if you want to reuse this, then you have to create as a site column. So by default, Microsoft provides various site columns are there. So when you will create a site, then that time by default there will be a SharePoint site column gallery will be there. Now where you can get it? So if you'll go to the gear icon or the settings icon, then you click on site settings. So you can see here here it is not coming because it is, you can see the menus are there basically for the modern site. So you can click on site information, and here you can go to the view all site settings. But if you'll go to the classic home page, you can see site setting, you can see gear icon. When you click on that, and then you can see site settings. Now when you click on that site settings, you will see web designer galleries. So under that there is site columns, and let me tell you, this is available for the SharePoint modern site as well as for the classic site. So if you are using modern site, you will, only thing is you will go to the site settings page differently. As I said, you can click it from here and you can go to the site settings page. Now once you come back to the site settings page, you can see here site columns, there is a link, and once you click on that, you will see there are more than 400 columns are there which are site columns and which you can use it. You can see here these are the columns. So now if you will actually go back here, you can see there is a option which is saying show groups, and you can see there are group wise, there are a lot of columns are there. For example, if you will click on core, task, and issue columns, and you just select it, you will see the columns which are related to task list and issue list. You will see the columns in the task list and issue list. Similarly, if I will click on let's say core document columns, you will see that these are the columns that we are using for document. So these are basically the columns that we are using. So now on the other side, if you want to create a site column, so you will come back to here from the site settings, go to the site columns, and you can see here there is a create option. Click on that, and then you can provide a name, the data type, everything is there. Whatever you see, most of the things are there. Now let me fill it. For example, I will say SP guides department, and I want to make it as a choice column. So I selected choice here, and if you scroll down, this is another quite important thing, that there's a groups which is saying that either you can select to an existing groups. So here in this case, you can see here there are existing groups are there. There's a TS info group, also there's a custom group. Let's say I'll select this, or you can select this and you can give a new name. For example, I will say SP guides site columns, so I can give that name also. And then so what it will do is it will create a new group, so that all your custom site columns will be there in the group. Now make sure also when you are renaming this, or when you are giving the name at the first time, so whatever name you will provide, this is going to be the internal name. So make sure that you should not give a special character, a space, all these things. So you can see here I gave SP guides without space department, but maybe I will later I will come and I will just take department here, or I'll just keep department or SP guides space departments like this. So here I will go to the choice, maybe I'll make HR finance training. So you can see here, and I want to make this as a drop down, so the choice will come or display as drop down. And you can see this is the default value, and I'll click on create. Now the site column got created. Where you can get it, so if you go to the groups, you can see here SP guide site columns. This is the group name that we provided here, and I will click on that, and you can see here this is our column. So this is how we can create in the browser. Now if you want to rename it, you can simply click on this, and then you can actually you can probably give a space over here and then click on OK. So it will say that you are about to update all list using the site column. So basically when you will create a site column, maybe you want to add it into multiple lists. So when you click on save, this will update in all lists. So you can just click on OK. So that means the update will happen on all the list wherever you are using that site column. So this is how we can create a site column in the browser, and this is how we can modify also. If you want to update, you can modify this also. And later if you want to use it any list, then you go to the list. You can see here we have the same training request list, and you can go to the list settings page. From here gear icon, scroll down, you can see here columns, and then you can see here add from existing site column. Once you click on that, then you can see here I will select the group here, SP guide site columns. I will select this group, this site column, just click on add and then click on OK. So now if I'll go back to the training request list, the last one, you can see here SP guide department. You can see here departments is there, and if you'll try to add a new item, you can see here SP guide departments, and you have all the HR finance and training departments are there. So this is how you can use it in a list or library. So you can actually go to any list and library, you can use that, and this is not specific to any list or library. Now as I said before, we can actually use this in a subsite also. So if I'll go to the site content page, you can see here I have a subsite which is known as marketing team site, and if you'll click on that, we can actually use that site column in this subsite also. How we can do that? For example, in this case I have the document library, and here I want to add that column. So I will click on the gear icon, then library settings, same process, scroll down, you will see add from existing site column, click on that, and then you can see here you will be able to see the site columns here. So SP guide site columns, click add and then click on OK. So once you click on OK, go back to the documents, you can see here this is the site column that we have added, and the site column will be available, as I said before, it will be available in the site where you are creating. Apart from that, it will be available on the nested subsite which are there, which are belongs to that particular site or the site collection. So this is how we can create a site column in the browser, and this is how we can use it in our list and libraries. Now come back to our programming stuff. We will see here how we can use or how we can create a site column by using REST API. If you have not gone through my previous videos, I have explained what is REST API, how we can work with list libraries, everything. I will put the link in the video description. Now meanwhile, if you are interested to learn SharePoint, I have some SharePoint training courses you can see here, and these are the courses are available. SharePoint development training, this is more than 60 hours. SPFX training, we have site owner training, Nintex, Power Platform, all these trainings are available. If you are interested for a SharePoint training course bundle, I have a coupon code which you will get a discounted price. I'll put that link in the video description. You can have a look at this. Okay, now come back. So now if I will open any web part page, so I'll go to the view all pages. You can see here I have a test.spx. This is a web part page, and here we are going to use our REST API code. Now if I will open it here, let me explain you how we are doing this. So when you are actually doing this REST API calls, so we know we will use the jQuery, and this is going to be a post operation. And here if you'll see, I have actually created a text box where user will enter the site column name, and there will be a button, and on click of that button it will create the site column. So now let's go. This is our HTML code. By the way, I have a table structure, and this is just an input type text box, and there's a button where the button ID is btn click, and the value is create site column using REST API. Now if you'll see here on the button click, you can see here we are getting first of all the URL. So web absolute URL will give you the site URL, then underscore API web fields. So this will give you the site, all the fields or the columns, site columns. And then I'm trying to retrieve the value from the text box, and here is our call. So the type is a post call. This is the URL. Data stringify we are doing here, and then underscore metadata type is sp.field because we are trying to create field. And this is the title, the field type kind two means it is actually a text box or a single line of text. I'll put, there's a link available on MSDN to follow this one, and based on your selection this thing will change. And then this is the group. So you can see here SP guide site column. If it is not there, let's say the group we have not created previously, it will be automatically created. And then the header content type x hyphen request digest, because this is going to be a post call and we need to pass this value. Now what I'll do is I will simply copy this code from here, and I will go to my web part page. I will edit the page, and in this particular case I'll click on add a web part, and I will go to media and content, and I will script editor web part. You can also create content editor web part, or you can use content editor web part. In my previous video I have explained how we can use content editor web part so that you can distinguish your JS file, your CSS file, your HTML file, and how we can use it. I have completely explained on that. I'll put the link in the video description. So in this case I will use script editor web part, click on add, and here I'll click on edit snippet, and I'll put the code here. You can see here I'll click on insert, stop editing. So we will stop this page here now, and here I will, let's say I'll create a column. For example, I will say SP guides address, and I'll click on create site column using REST APIs. You can see here it is saying site column created successfully. Click on OK. Now go back to our site. I'll go to the list settings page, site settings page. So site information and view all site settings, and you can see here there is site columns under web designer galleries, and once you click on that there is SP guides column, and we should be able to see here. You can see here the SP guides department we created previously, and SP guides address now we created this one. If we click on that, you can see here this is a single line of text and this is the group name. And most importantly, you can see here, if you check out the browser, you can see here there is no space, no special character, because this is going to be our internal name. So this is how you can work with side columns in SharePoint, and we saw the difference between list column and side columns as well. If you want similar kind of videos, then subscribe to the channel, like our videos and share with others, and you will get actually a lot of free videos on SharePoint, Office 365, SP Apex, Power Platform. So subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification as soon as I will upload a video, and I usually upload 2 to 3 videos per week. Thank you and have a nice day.